දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න. සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න. හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න. සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න. හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න. සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න. හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
දරස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න. සිත් සේතෝරාගන්න. හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක් අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
Welcome back to the live action brought to you from Havelock Park, and here we are bringing you back schools rugby, and it's been a tremendous pleasure to be here as we kick off the 2022 season. Dialog Schools Rugby League is commencing today with St. Joseph's College hosting Kingswood College, and joining me in commentary is Shanaka Amarasinghe. A very, very warm welcome to you, Shanaka.
Thank you very much, Sudarshani. It's fantastic to be back. Just walking across this Havelock Sports Cup grounds with the bit of rain that's been around in Colombo. It's looking lush and green, as our viewers will see on their TV screen as the chief guests being introduced to both the teams. And these guys are kicking off. It's a curtain raise, and not just for the Dialog Rugby League, but for them as well. 2 years of non-competitive rugby, 2 years playing just against each other, and now they're going to be able to show their wares. We've had 2 years of teams that have, pretty much fallen by the wayside. 2 sets of names that we wouldn't have been able to bring to the public, but these guys will certainly make up for it.
Absolutely spot on, Shanaka, because of the 2-year-long hiatus, we would have lost a lot of players who would have gone the distance if they had the chance. I don't feel too bad about the captains or the seniors. I feel really bad about those one-off players who come in their last year and become absolute stars. The basketballers, the swimmers, the rowers who decide to finally take up the game in their final year. But lucky for these young lads, they are with the opportunity to play a full season. And it's incredible that Dialog has come forward alongside Sri Lanka Schools Rugby to make this happen. Earlier in the day, both teams went through their final preparation. And this is Kingswood coming out. A little bit of nerves for them, because it's never easy, isn't it, Shanaka? After 2 years, you got to travel down to Colombo and they take on the home team.
And traveling is always one of those things you get into as the season goes on, isn't it, Sudarshan? You would have known this, having to travel to Colombo pretty often as well. For Colombo teams, generally you play either Trinity or you play Kingswood. You might have played Vidyartha, so there's not a lot of traveling for the Colombo teams, but you guys were pretty much here every other weekend. And it really is one of those things you grow into. And for this Kingswood team, without the privilege of having traveled in junior age groups as well, this is going to be a new experience.
Absolutely. I was having a chat with a couple of the coaches, a couple of the Colombo coaches, and they said as important as playing the game, it's important to try and control and maintain the peace when these boys go and stay in a hotel the previous day. You got to make sure that they are well rested and they're not distracted during the night. So like you said, it's something that you grow into, that it's something that comes with a lot of practice. As the dignitaries and the 2 teams take the official photograph, this one is going to be a very, very special one for all the rugby fans in the country. The rugby community has been very eager to see this game get started, and here we are bringing you Dialog Schools Rugby League 2022.
Such a confluence of emotions, isn't it, Sudarshan? There's relief that the rugby is kicking off. There's almost a sense of excitement going into a new season, but more so because we've something we've taken for granted, being able to come for a rugby match every week, and suddenly that's been taken away from us for 2 years. And suddenly you would realize that it's such a big experience, such a big part of your life, even if you're not playing, just being around the community of the game. And that's what rugby really is all about, isn't it? Not just about the 80 minutes on the pitch, but everything that happens life afterwards.
St. Joseph's College, captained by Teran Karunanayake, started off his career as a winger, one of those lucky players who had played some first 15 rugby before this season, has now moved on to the centre position. And as for Kingswood College, it's Gihan Ranavira, another man in the middle. So 2 centres captaining the sides. We've seen when centres do captain their sides well, they go on to do great things.
Yes, and Teran has moved in from the wing. He has moved a couple of places in, and he's got a bit of experience. One of the few guys, I think, in most of these teams who would have had a taste of first 15 rugby, who this is not completely new to. So I think that'll stand well in St. Joseph's favour. Also, I don't think we can discount the weather. Sudarshana, Kingswood coming in from Kandy, where the weather is not cool, but it is a little cooler than it is here. The humidity factor also slightly more here in Colombo. So I think those factors will also be part of the equation for this Kingswood team, and they really can't let St. Joseph's get off to a big start. They can't afford to be 10-0 down in the first 5 minutes or first 10 minutes. They really need to make sure they hold the jaws and let that pent-up aggression of the last 2 years kind of exude from them a little bit and then perhaps come back into the game. Nice to see the crowds back at Havelock Park as well.
Well, on that shot, you saw Rashen Jayawardene, who we could have seen in the middle, but unfortunately did not get the chance to feature fully in his year of captaincy for the Blue Whites.
Such a shame for those players, everyone who was waiting to cap off their final season. And unfortunately, it was not to be, but hopefully they will go on and scratch that itch maybe in club rugby. Perhaps those who may not have gone on to play some club rugby may go on and play some.
Baraka joined this. Fast action, fast relief, and if you're looking for a fast relief for your muscle pains, this is where you stop. Baraka joint is where you stop partnering us in the game as well. Don't let it get away for instant pain relief. Quick penetration and instant relief from Baraka jointies.
So we're waiting for the referees for some reason who haven't come onto the pitch yet. The boys are raring to go. They might start without the whistle if we're not careful. But you can see already off your screens, we're seeing the boys eyeing each other up.
I think the referees weren't exactly happy with something, because they were there discussing with the match commissioner. And here comes the man to the middle, Gihan Yatavara, who will be controlling the first game of the season. Again, it's going to be very interesting, isn't it? He's going to control a school's game after a long, long time. It was different with the clubs. But when it comes to the school's game, it's going to be a little faster than the club rugby. Club tends to be a little more physical. So it'll be interesting to see how the referees take charge.
Yes, the boys will also be certainly full of enthusiasm. Schools rugby is anyway quite a bit faster than the club game. And I think this is going to be a little bit more helter-skelter as well, because there's not been competition in the last 2 years and these guys will be pretty rusty. First kickoff goes straight down the throat of Mandara Amarasena for St. Joseph's, who lays it back nicely. Coming back is Vihanga Randeepa. Hands it off to his forwards. They're keen to play and get the first penalty as well. So first penalty of the Dialog Schools Rugby League in favour of St. Joseph's.
Well, we are going to see quite a bit of those, especially with these boys with pent-up energy. But the Josephians need to make sure that they, like you mentioned earlier, need to make sure that they put on a good score, because for Kingswood, chasing the game is going to be a little difficult, especially in these weather conditions.
Subhash Dilhara, who puts that just into the Kingswoodian half. Not the best touch finder in the world, but it'll be enough as long as they win the line out. And this is where, of course, the first acid test takes place, the first set piece of the Schools Rugby League, the Dialog Schools Rugby League 2022, and the man to throw in, Shamod Senemiratne. On your screens at the moment, he'll be anxious to make a good start. So how much the line-out can do for you in the Auckland Blues versus Canterbury Crusaders Super Rugby final. Sudarshan is shaking his head here. But it's a nice win in the front for St. Joseph's. Nice, neat and tidy. Kingswood seems to have done their homework and trying to drag that driving maul into touch, but not before St. Joseph's break away and have the ball in field. Picking up and going. They've got a big set of forwards, these Josephians, so they will look to attack Kingswood close quarters. A distinct size advantage for the Dari Road boys. Quick one-out ball again. And the ruck speed has been good for the number 9, Vihanga Randeepa. Marshalling his forwards. They've gone into the 22. Now he looks for a little run himself. They've got numbers on the outside. And it's the first try. An easy one. Set up nicely by the forwards and finished off by the backs. And Josephs are on the score sheet.
Well, what a start for the skipper, Josephian skipper Tehran. I think he's straight on to his old position, Chanaka. Finishing off in the corner, Tehran Karnanayaka. But at the back of very, very good work of the forwards. Lovely stuff by Karnanayaka.
Excellent try, and the skipper will be very happy about that. Easy run in, probably one of the easiest tries he'll ever score in his life. Did well to ground it there in the end in the face of a little bit of pressure. But outstanding work from the forwards. They took the ball into the center of the field, Sudarshana, and then it was really quick work from the 9 and 10, Vihanga and Dilhara, to switch the play. And they switched it back to the blind side. Teran Karnanayaka knew exactly what was going on, as good skippers do, and it was an easy run-in for him. So it was just the ability for Kingswood not able to fold back in defense onto the blind side, and that's what created the try.
Kingswood did fairly well in defending the maul off the line out, but then, like you mentioned, they got sucked into the oncoming assault from the Saints. The conversion surely has the distance and has the aim as well. Hits the target. 7 points to 0. St. Joseph's College starting off strong.
Dilhara Subhash with the conversion, a touchline conversion as well. He's got an interesting kicking style. Gives the ball a lot of height, but that time it had the distance as well. So good talent with the boot here. So just what we talked about, that Kingswood can't allow St. Joseph's to get into their early ascendancy. They've conceded a try, and it's important that they don't concede another one if they are to make sure that they stay in this game. But as we say that, St. Joseph's vulnerable at the kickoff and dropping an easy one.
That's not going to make Nilofer Ibrahim very happy. You just scored and you'd expect more from the prop. Ishan D'Souza.
Never really something that props like doing, front row forwards, catching the ball off the kickoff. They'd like to leave that to their wingers or their loose forwards or their second rowers.
Just drag a lock and lift him up.
Yep. But this is a great scrum for Kingswood. Just enough blindside to work with, but a good set piece from St. Joseph's, putting pressure on that Kingswoodian scrum. But unfortunately for the Joes pack, Vihanga couldn't pick that up clean. And it ends up in another scrum in an even better position. This time it's pretty much on the 15-meter line, so it gives them a nice blindside to work with.
All the indications, Shanika, of how Vihanga is playing this game. He can be instrumental in how he controls the pace of the game. Very quick to the breakdown as well, and has that uncanniness about him. Looks like a sniping scrum half.
Yeah, he looks like he knows when to run, and that's an important gift for a scrum half to have. That's a quick channel one ball. Not sure they were expecting that, but they come on the open side. Kingswood, first real bust up that they've had. Holding on to the ball, it's not quick ball. Smashed in the tackle is Ishara. Full back up in the line. Here's a pod of forwards out, but St. Joseph's defense is swarming. Really up in the faces were the Josephians. There's another prop forward handling in midfield, but coming back into the center is Ranavira. The skipper can't hold on to the ball though, and this Josephian defense is up really quickly. Teran Karnanayaka with a good tackle, but not getting out of the way in time was his center partner. That's Mandara Amarasena, who needed to get out of the way.
Well, interesting position for Kingswood College. They can go to the corner, and they've opted to go to the corner. Normally Kingswood do produce some really good place kickers. One famous name, the most famous name I'd say, is Nala Kavira Kudi, coming out from Kingswood College, who could kick from anywhere in the field. Here's why he lost his balance and sealed the ball. He didn't let the ball come out, and referee Atavara right on the spot to penalise the Josephians.
The ball was available, and looked like Mandara just did enough to slow it down, so that's why referee Atavara thought that it was worthy of a penalty. But Kingswood again, that's a big miss from the forwards. It was not even close to being straight, and that will dent the confidence more than anything else.
Well, it really does baffle me, Shanika. It's your first throw. Why do you go to number 6? Hit number 2, get your confidence up, and then build from there. So fault in the hands of couple of people there, the one who made the call and also the hooker who agreed to it. He can always say, no, I want to hit number 2.
Well, I would agree with you generally, Sudarshana. But these guys do a fairly extensive warm-up, don't they? And they're doing a number 2, a number 4, a number 6. But I guess it's different when you're in the match. So it's good to find your feet. But then you have to ask yourself, why do you spend so much time doing all these warm-ups? Here's Randeepa, and that's ball is left behind that time by Dilhara Subhash. Couldn't hang on to it. It's a bit of a bullet pass from the scrum half. But again, Kingswood get not just a first or second, but a third bite of the cherry now. It's a wonderful scrum in midfield. Got both sides of the field to attack from. Would be nice to see Ishan breaking off the back of the scrum. You watch Randeepa here. It's quick ball. Navin Marasinghe doesn't control it well at the back. And just took his eye off it, Subhash.
Josephians now cooped up in their red zone, so it's going to be a very, very crucial scrum for Kingswood College. Outhooked.
Beautifully done that time by St. Joseph's, knowing exactly when to apply the pressure, and now they're off and running. Massive late tackle there, but it looked like there might have also been a forward pass, but the referee will come back for one of those offences. Yes, he has come back for the forward pass, so whatever happened after that doesn't count. But it looked dangerous there a little bit for Kingswood. So in the set piece, Sudarshana, they're going to come off second best if they don't pick things up very, very quickly.
Absolutely, because there is a massive size disadvantage as well. You can see on the screen. The Josephians, especially Naveen. I remember, Shanika, once we were watching under 16 Josephian game at Sierra FC, and there was this one guy towering over the rest. Here he is, having graduated up to the top. That's a brilliant kick.
Really good kick and a really good chase as well. Nicely fielded that time. Kingswood going nowhere with that attack. And it was beautifully defended by the Josephians. Seran Karunanayake putting that chase in as well. Pereira in the number 15 jersey has been in the wars already for Kingswood. But it looks like this Josephian side, in terms of their body language, they look a bit more confident. That early try would really have settled their nerves. And for Kingswood, it's important that they don't let themselves get bossed out of the game. This line-out is crucially important for them. See whether they take your advice, Sudarshana. Throwing in is Disanayaka. Again, it goes straight over the top of the intended man, but snaffled by the back of the line out, which is helpful for the Kingswoodians because they've retained the ball. Big up and under. Chase is nowhere to be seen, and in the end, it's an easy catch for Ramika Dhananjaya, who gives it to Teran Karunanayake eventually. And the skipper stays on his feet, waits for his support.
Tackle release!
Good communication from referee Yatavara there, saying it's a tackle, get out of the way. Helps the tackler to understand when he needs to release and roll away. Lovely dummy there by Subhash. Cut them wide open. Subhash still going. He's got one man to beat. Can he go into the corner? No, he can't. He's dragged down just inside the 22. Made about 30 meters all on his own. It's a huge blindside, but they choose to go straight up the middle, and why not? Because Navin Marasinghe, the man we spoke about just a few moments ago.
Oh well, Navin Marasinghe to the party. He's used to scoring tries of that sort, but the hard work was done by Subhash, and now slowly but surely, the Saints are surely marching in here at Havelock Park.
They certainly were. There was no stopping him. We are wondering whether they missed a trick by not looping around the blind side, which was had plenty of space. Lovely run here by Subhash. Stepping off his left foot not once, twice, but 3 times. Couldn't make that last left foot step. A brilliant tackle in the end. Blind side had a bit of space. But you watch Marasinghe here, just brushes off some would-be defenders, and there's really no blaming that Kingswood defense. They'd run all the way back and there were very little men in front of a very big man.
Extras added, so 14 points to nil. St. Joseph's getting on to a very, very good start here. Like I said, Kingswood now a little depleted. They did not have a very good outing the last time they met the Josephians as well, so it's going to be very interesting.
So for Kingswood, it's becoming obvious what they need to do as we see Subhash adding those extras. They're getting a bit of a talking to behind the goal posts. Talagampala and Veeraratna will have plenty to say at half time, but they need to make it there without too much of a deficit. So you have Azmi to kick off for the second time or for the third time. Beautifully picked up that time by Kingswood. Nice run. They've been a little wanting on the restarts, have St. Joseph's, but everything else has been fantastic. Azmi looking to pick up and go. It was a wonderful pickup by the number 6, Fernando, off the kickoff that St. Joseph's again failed to deal with.
Yes, second time that has happened to the Josephians, so they will want to make sure that they correct that. They cannot relax soon after they score. As Azmi puts the ball to boot, goes for touch. Interestingly, the man with number 1 at the back of his jersey is doing all the throwing. Maybe that's the problem, Shanika.
It looks like it's Ishara then who's throwing in. Defending the Hookers Guild is Sudarshana.
Most times now they're not hookers. They do a thankless job. Got to put the hard yards in the scrums at the front row. Got to deal with all the work that the flankers do as well. So, yep, try and bat for them as much as you can. Oh well, now that's a throw that nobody can agree with. Surely, Mr. Talagampala, who's working his maiden season here at Kingswood College, who's been a jumper himself, would have added a thing or two.
Yeah, and the thing is, Tale wasn't just a jumper, he was one of the best jumpers, Sudarshana. So he will be very upset to see something that he was so good at being botched by the team that he's coaching. So this is something that they have to fix, not just for this match maybe, but they need to fix it in the upcoming season, because if they can't secure their ball from the line out, there is going to be a very long 70 minutes for them. Marasinghe, a little bit more confidence now, picks up inside the 22 and goes off on a run. Dragged down by the collar eventually. And now there's a bit of space available. Beautiful ball again for the fullback. That was Isuru Kanchana. And here's another run in for St. Joseph's. Kanchana it is, who will score. He's holding on to his hamstring. I hope he hasn't done himself an injury, but that was an outstanding try from Kingswood. Sucked in all the defenders, did Marasinghe, and left his backs with anybody who wanted to score that try.
Just beautiful stuff from St. Joseph's College. I'd like that replay to start a little earlier if it's possible, but here's the man putting in the final touches.
You could almost see where it happened in Sudarshana. When he decided to go on the outside, that's when his hamstring went. But he gritted his teeth and went that extra 50 meters as well. Isuru Kanchana with his first try of the season. And you think about the number 8 break and you wonder, is Marasinghe going too lateral? But the point is, he's actually just sucking in the entire 3/4 line in defense there. He breaks their back, and then after that, it's just easy does it for the outside backs.
We're going to see a lot more of those hammies being pulled, the ankles, because like we spoke about, you can train as much as you like, but it's nothing like playing in a competitive game. First miss for Subhash. Beg your pardon. Yep, Subhash, who misses out on the conversion, but St. Joseph's with a healthy lead, 19 points to nil. Just over 17 minutes on our clock. And to all of you joining us on Sri Lanka's #1 Sports Hub, a very, very warm welcome. It's incredible to have you here and to bring you schools rugby back after a long, massive hiatus. Last time Shanaka and I brought you a schools game was earlier this year, Kananaris Serum Trophy. We start off the first week with the Kananaris again. Well, that's a little bit of a miscalculation from the Josephians, kicking it out on the full. They took it back to the 22 meters. So now Kingswood with the chance. On second thoughts, Shanak, I think there could have been some injury to the starting hooker. That's why the #1 is throwing, and the way he was throwing, clearly he hadn't practiced much.
Sure, I think that might be an explanation, Sudarshana. It's got to be, because I don't see Thale sending out a line out that looks like this. And that's really unfortunate when you don't have the kind of depth that you need. Again, third line out in a row, lost by Kingswood. Subhash puts a long raking kick in. He's not looking for touch that time. The ball is not knocked forward. Oh, that could have been a dangerous pass. That time it was. So Kingswood don't really want to hold on to the ball. And you can see from the way they're playing that there's an enormous lack of confidence in the way that they want to play, how they want to play. Not really taking responsibility.
You're absolutely right, Chanaka. They didn't collect the ball cleanly the first time, and then that pass, the way he collected that ball, looking at the Josephian defense, it tells you that they are not confident. For this game, or for the sake of the game, we really do hope that Kingswood can muster up something against run of play that might give them a lot of confidence as Vihangaradli feeds.
Navin Marasinghe picking up off the back, beats the first two defenders, dragged down eventually by the third one. Randeepa thinks of going blind, then comes back to the open side, gives another big ball carrier an opportunity to smash themselves into Kingswood. Here's a bit of a lateral run that time, but again, good composure shown to make that ball available. Subhash with a terrible pass. Looking for a long ball, but certainly not a defense-splitting one. And again, giving away the penalty for sealing off.
Number 12 coming from side, number 12 coming
number
from
12
side.
again was the man who's pinged, so that's something that he might need to work on a little bit at practice. But Kingswood get another reprieve.
It's interestingly, they are yet again opting to go for touch, knowing that it hasn't worked for them the previous 3 occasions. Now with Marasinghe in your side, Chanaka, I think all the rest of the teams who are watching this telecast are going to stop and take notice. The flankers are going to stop and take notice, and the fly-halves are going to tell the flankers, you better cover me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the fly halves are going to be losing a little bit of sleep when they watch this game. He's a big lad, isn't he? And he's got a lot of strength as well. Sometimes people can end up just being big, but he's not one of those lads. Ishara tries again. Goes to the front of the line out, and it's clearly something that wasn't discussed, because they did lift someone.
Feet up.
But they managed to retain the ball, and this is where they need to do something with it. Kingswood can't afford to play this close quarter rugby, not against this big side. Got to throw it around a little bit, try and revert to that touch rugby game almost. Fast-paced. Stepping back inside, that time was Gumhaver.
Offside.
Ishan thought he had a little bit of space, but the gap closed quickly, but illegally, says referee Adavara.
Captain. Captain.
Referee at Havelock is not happy with something.
It's been a few penalties, isn't it, Sudarshan? For a team that's 19-0 in the lead, who has had pretty much all the ball.
Laying the law. Very good communication by referee Atavara. He does not have any place in rugby. He can, when he makes the decision, that's
Number
fine.
5.
It's good to see Teran Karunanayake nodding his head in agreement, saying, I'll sort this out, ref. It's a decent touch finder that time from Kingswood. It's the number 10, Azmi, who hasn't had a lot to do today. It'll be interesting to see whether Roshan Weeraratne has advised his backs to kick. Looks like that might have to be the plan. If you look at the size difference, it's blatantly obvious, isn't it, Sudarshana? The first line out for Kingswood. Nicely done, easily done in the end, and nobody really wants to hang on to that ball, unfortunately, despite winning it in the line out. So they were also surprised to win a line out that they forgot to play with it. And here's
Penalized again, but this time seems like referee reaching out to his pocket. He's
Number
not
7.
happy at all. Sachintana.
मैं बॉल लेके नंबर 9 पिट करा मैं आर्म्स मुकुट ना तुआ शॉल्डर लेके चार्ज करना एम करना बैक राइट मेन
No hands, dangerous play, and dangerous play will not go unnoticed in this game, and that's the first yellow card of the Dialog Schools Rugby League 2022. Sachin, the man who was, can't say lucky enough to receive it.
well, again, a wobbly touch finder, but eventually finds its way over the touchline. So back where we started, pretty much, almost identical spot. Look at exactly what happened with that yellow card. Watch number 7. Didn't really see it there. It might have been a little bit before that. We'll try and get back to that in a few minutes in the next break. 25 minutes gone on the clock. 10 minutes to round out this half, but Kingswood will be happy that they haven't conceded in the last few minutes, Sudarshana. They've actually managed to win a line out, so they can really try and turn the tables here. Few extra men in this line out for St. Joseph's. Coming through was the number 5, Janit Marasinghe. Couldn't hold on to the ball, the big second rower. Again, another scrum. Again, not something that they've really enjoyed, Kingswood, against this big pack, but it's only a 7-man pack now. In schools rugby, they'll probably have to even the numbers out. They're bringing in their centre. That's Mandara Amarasena, who comes into the blind side flank or the open side flank. Early engage. Taken quickly that time by Ishan. Looking for a bit of a run this time. Nice ball, but just overran it. Referee says that went backwards, so Kings would still have it. Trying to string a few phases together. Ishan stepping back inside was... That was Ishan, I'm sorry. Azmi was the man who handed the ball off. Here's Azmi, another quick hands. Ishara losing the ball in midfield, but referee saying again it was an illegal turnover. And he'll have another chat to St. Joseph's, who will be having to look at their discipline, Sudarshana.
Absolutely, 19 points. Yep, straight away. There is a disciplinary problem. Number 10 goes to the bin. And this is unacceptable from the Josephians. You're 19 points and nil up on the board. You need to manage the referee now. That's the last thing you need to do. Get on his bad books.
Captain.
Absolutely. You can see Subhash hanging his head. Well, the referee Atavara clearly telling Teran Karunanayake that he wants his message to be relayed to the team, that he doesn't think that they understood exactly what he meant. Here it is, it's just trying to turn over the ball. It was a ruck formed.
He clearly said, tell them not to react when I make my decision. And that was clearly a show of dissent. First opportunity for Kingswood College to try and get points on the board.
This will be Ishara, who bisects the gap between the uprights, and it's the first points on the board for Kingswood. That'll settle their nerves as well. Getting off the mark, as it were. 19 points to 3 with 28 minutes on the clock. 2 men in the bin. Now or never for Kingswood to mount their comeback into this game. 13 plays 15.
Well, will this be the time that Kingswood try and get their nose in the game again? We will have to wait and see. And if I was the Kingswood skipper, I'll be in the referees here a little. I'll be a little bit of TJ here.
Well, you've got a two-man overlap, so Kingswood really have to keep this ball in hand and just throw it around as much as they can. Try to drag these big forwards sideways, but they've got to catch the ball for that first. And perhaps not kick it away as Kingswood kick it into the hands of the danger man. Stepping back in field, that's Randika, the Hamja, and here's Marasinghe. Crowd getting excited every time he touches the ball. Big fend, but a nice chop tackle on him in the end by the Kingswood defense. And again, a penalty conceded. Holding on to the ball.
Mark there.
A little too eager there. You got to take the quick tap where the incident happened and not where the referee is standing. Well, now very interesting call by Kingswood College. They are still opting to go for touch every time they get a penalty. They have the numerical advantage, 15 against 13, and this time they don't even find touch. And ideally, they should have.
Here's Karunanayake running straight into Ranavira, the two skippers. Just a knock-on advantage, so Kingswood will play with this again. Ishara opts to take the contact again with that 2 men extra. Here's ball going wide, but smashed in the tackle again. Outstanding defense by Marasinghe at that time. On the much smaller Amukotua, number 7.
Holding.
Well, coming back to what I said, Shanika, I'd rather prefer them taking a scrum from here. They'll suck in another player to the scrum, getting their backs a 2-man advantage on the overlap. That would serve Kingswood a little better than what they've shown us in the lineup.
Absolutely, Sudarshana. Completely agree with you. They need to bring as many defenders to one place as possible and try to have their steppers run around them. Again, a botched touch finder, that time by Azmi again. And it's been a comedy of errors so far in terms of finding touch. Here's Marasinghe. Gets a little bit of open field in front of him. Needs to pass now. Probably should have given it outside. But opts instead to take the contact and hold the ball up. And here his forwards doing some willing running off his shoulder. And that time St. Joseph's will be very happy. The penalty is for them rather than against them. Azmi is the man who didn't release.
Killing it.
Well, Payne. He's in a lot of pain, the Kingswood player. Seems like he's
Change කරලා තින්නේ. Stretch එක ඕනේද?
It's like it might be a cramp for Azmi, but not sure if that's him on the floor there. Might be an ankle or yeah, it's not looking good. Looks like he's in some serious pain there.
really do hope that it's not as bad as it looks. Ankles in the first game of the season is the last thing that you want as a player.
Yeah,
those take forever to recover, Chanaka.
It's a nasty injury, isn't it, Sudarshana?
Ankles and hamstrings.
Oh, yeah. And imagine him having to go back on the bus. Remember, the same thing happened to me coming back from Kandy. My leg hanging in one place, the foot somewhere else. It's not fun. $19 points to 3 in this first match of the Dialog Schools Rugby League tournament. St. Joseph's are 2 men in the bin. And just as they were mounting a comeback, unfortunately, St. Joseph's, Kingswood, just couldn't find touch on 2 separate occasions. Here's Navin Marasingh has run back in field. Here's a tackle from Azmi.
Well, I think it was the earlier contact that the player got injured. Well, a familiar face who loves to troll St. Joseph's every time he's on the international commentary combox. But here he is, watching a Joe's rugby game.
Yeah, I wonder who he's talking to. He's leaving a voice note for someone, Russell Arnold. He's watching the wrong school. His Peter Wrights play tomorrow.
Replacement?
On Saturday, in fact. It's always good to have Sri Lanka tour going on with Russell in the country. It's never short of a word. And really have to feel for the young lad as he gets taken off. Really hope this injury is not as serious as it looked.
Lovely gesture by the Josephian parents who clapped the man who's been taking off. We missed that. We missed the camaraderie. We missed the spirit in which this beautiful game is being played.
Tackle or not release.
So another very high kick. Subhash is still in the bin, so he's had someone take over from him. So it will be St. Joseph's ball.
Time out.
Chamod Seniratna gets the opportunity to throw into another line out after what seems like ages. St. Joseph's really haven't had their own line out in a while.
Time on.
Since probably the first one in the game.
Well, their number 7 is in the bin, so and he kind of is the tallest player next to Naveen. But Lanka goes up and collects it cleanly, setting it up despite being a man short. Kingswood doing very well to stop that maul, but running through the middle is Chamod.
Beautifully done by Chamod. Looked up and saw empty space in front of him and thought, I'll have that. Tried to smash his way using the Maori sidestep. But the last line of the Kingswood defense was up to the mark, and again they concede a penalty when on attack. This is something that Nilufer Ibrahim will certainly want to look at when he looks at this video. He goes back and analyzes this. He will realize that his team have only beaten themselves by giving away so many penalties. Azmi gratefully takes the opportunity to buy some space for his forward pack, and will now hope that they can win the line out.
Well, if I was in the blue-red, I'd hurry hurry than what Kingswood is currently doing because I'd want to take as much as I can in open play with the numerical advantage. They're very slow to their line out.
They've got to view this as now a big game of touch. Try to really exploit it. Again, an overthrown line out, but taken eventually by De Silva at the back.
Carried back.
Carried back so he can't kick it out on the full. It's a nice high kick and the chase is decent. Very upright in the tackle there. These kids will have to be a little mindful of that, making sure that they lower their tackle height. St. Joseph's have recovered it and Randeepa wants to slow things down as much as Sudarshana says Kingswood need to hurry up. St. Joseph's will look to slow this down as much as possible, which is exactly what they're doing to try and get them to half-time. Randeepa again giving the ball to his big runners. It's just one out rugby for the moment from St. Joseph's. It's nice to see the angle that they're using. Stepping back inside, coming onto the weak shoulder, forcing the Kingswoodian defense to fold. You can almost throw a handkerchief over that Kingswood defense there. Marasinghe looking to go through the middle. Dragged down in the end by Disanayaka. That's good tackle, good defense. That time by Fernando in the number 6 jersey for Kingswood. Managed to turn the ball over.
Release ball.
Good call from the referee saying release the ball, and good attention paid by the Josephian defender as well. Not the most elegant kick in the world, but
Half-time.
did a job. And you can see Kingswood don't really want to take this big Josephian team on.
Well, right on the dot, 35 minutes on the clock, and a quick reminder to all of you wondering why it was half-time at 35. The school's game is played for 70 minutes only. So 19 points to 0, 19 points to 3 rather. It's going to be very interesting how the coaches would interpret this one, Shanaka, because like you mentioned, Josephians got on to a brilliant start, but how they managed the latter half of their first half is going to be a thing of concern to Nilofer Ibrahim.
Certainly, I think they got a little complacent, didn't they, St. Joseph's, after they rollicked into that lead, 19 points to 0, and then made a few mistakes. And here's Teran Karunanayaka's first try. Always poetic for the skipper to start off on a scoring note. Beautiful run by Subhash for the next one, and this was Subhash with the conversion, a touchline conversion. Beautifully done. And here's Navin Marasinghe thundering down in between the sticks. There's really no stopping him. And this Isuru Kanchana busted his hamstring on the way to the try line, but didn't stop him dotting it down though. And Subhash rather with his first miss of the half.
Another man down for Kingswood College. We really do hope that he'll be all right. But that's half time. 19 points to 0 is 19 points to 3 rather. Is your score in favor of St. Joseph's College. We'll go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will be back with the second half action of this opening game of Dialog Schools Rugby League 2022.
Dallas ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න, සිත්සේ තෝරාගන්න. හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක්. අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Catch the excitement real time. Be up to date with it all. Let us capture your milestones. Get it sizzling hot off the turf. Hear the experts break it down. Dig deep into the nitty-gritties. Be inspired by their greatness. Relive all the scintillating action.
දරාස් ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න. සිත්සේ තෝරාගන්න. හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක්. අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරාස් සොයාගන්න.
Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
රඩි ඔලිබරපු යාල්පානතෙල්ල
මාතර කොටවිල ගම්පියසට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා.
සිද්ධාස
ඇඩ්මොරටුව පියගම මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ක්‍රීඩාංගණය.
කිලක්කු මාහාන.
Sugadadasa Indoor Stadium is the Fox Hill Supercross.
කුරුණෑගල සිටි ඇතුගල් පුරවරය
Papare.com අපි අද ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ නෝරෙලිය ප්‍රදේශයේ.
ෆයිනල් ෂෝඩවුන් කැන්ඩි ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ක්ලබ්
පොරණරුව ජාතික සංකීර්ණයේ සිට
Welcome to the universe of the Raz. Whatever you want, whatever you need, all you can imagine is on your feet. When miles are abridged, happiness is unlocked. Discover your Daraz.
Kingswood College and Chanaka, the current climate, I'm sure Kingswoodians will be enjoying it much better than the first half.
Points to 3 in favor of their team. Russell Arnold in the crowd, chewing a nervous fingernail, wondering what's going to happen to the Joe Pete based on Navin Marasinga's big runs in the first half. Here's Randeepa, puts the ball behind his centre. But again, well rescued by St. Joseph's. And a lovely kick as well.
The vice captain of the Josephian outfit, Rahel Jayawardene, at that time. Very well judged kick by him. Was under pressure. Had to make sure that he doesn't get caught to being accidentally offside with the player in front of him.
Well, he's a left footer as well, which did help him. So now big changes. Number 4, De Silva, the actual second rower, is going to throw into this line out. They've gone for a 4-man line out. Let's see whether their fortunes improve. You can see St. Joseph's in the front trying to disrupt. And Ramdeepa is the man who takes it at the back. Lays it back nicely. It was a big tackle on him by Azmi. And he looks like he might be in a little bit of trouble here. It was a big collision. If you can see that again, I don't think there was anything intentional about it, but he did go down in a heap.
Not something I'd like to see. He was just straightened up, using his head. Ramdeep, I think, landed on his head that time.
It's a big collision there. If you can see that incident again.
I think he's bleeding as well.
Yeah. It was Azmi's tackle. He reached out. I think he fell over his arm and smashed his face straight into the ground. And if this was Havelock Park of old, I think he would have come off a lot worse than that. But fortunately, it's just, and I say just in inverted commas, it's a nosebleed. Something all rugby players are very familiar with, but he will have to go off and get checked. Injury, scored a try and had to go off. So a little bit of miscommunication among the positional shifts. St. Joseph's until they get their communications back. Nice easy ball in the middle, but again lost. Azmi puts an interesting kick in, falls in no man's land. Karunanayaka will go up for it, but easily taken by Navin. There's no advantage from the first knock-on, says referee Atavara, and brings it back very correctly.
Well, this is a very interesting passage of play. If you look at the Kingswoodian front row, the big prop forward who was playing hooker, the number 1 Ishara, has gone out. And another substitution comes in. Sekanayaka departs. New scrum off into the fold. Can the Kingswoodians frustrate the Josephians a little bit longer?
Oh, it's a big shove by the Josephians. But it looks like it was an early shove. Nice run by the number 8, Ishan. Haven't really seen him in the game much. Hasn't had the ball in his hands enough. Here's Azmi stepping and stepping again. Coming through, a lovely little offload. And this is better from Kingswood. Looks like they've found a little bit of confidence now. That time they lose the ball, but not knocked forward, says the referee. That time it was. Oh dear, it's probably in the wars, the Kingswoodians. Couple of bad injuries for them already. Hopefully it's just not a third one. Good work by referee Adavara to stop play immediately. Match doctor, of course, always on hand to give the physios a little bit more expert guidance.
And the moment it's a head collision, the physios are not irrelevant anymore. It's the match doctor who can take the decision. He will do a quick HIA Here's what happened. Oh, straight into his face. It was Mara Singer's idle boot on the ground. He hit his face.
Scrum.
Luckily, it wasn't as bad as it looked, and he's past his HIA and will continue to play.
It's been a bit of a stop-start game, and again St. Joseph's. Very clear instructions from referee Adavara saying only push after the ball is in. But St. Joseph's have been guilty of false starting on more than one occasion, so they really need to keep that discipline. Again, a lot happening, but well behind the gain line. Stepping back in field was the captain, Ranavira. Holding on is the call.
Well, stop, start works well for Kingswood because they wanted to break the momentum of the Josephians, and since that third try, they've managed to do that.
Yes, and Josephs will be a little disappointed with themselves. They scored 3 tries very early on, and for the last about 20 minutes, Sudarshana, they've been found, well, not wanting, but certainly not in that same fluency. Offside.
Really interesting, Shanaka, because he touched the ball from outside the ground. He jumped up in the air. But in order for you to play the ball, you need to leave from the ground, not from outside. So that technically is touch.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that one again. Or you actually need to land back in the field of play if you started off from outside, Sudarshana. So he can start from outside, but if he lands back in field, then it's not touch. So it'll be interesting to see that one again if we have the angle, but I'm not sure we do. It's another line out 30 meters out. This is where St. Joseph's will be dangerous. They haven't been able to bring that driving maul into play so far, but they will certainly be looking for that. At this point, Sachintana is a man who will go up at number 2, but it's overthrown this time. It's St. Joseph's turn to lose a line out.
What do you want? Strum or line out? Strum. Strum here. Red ball.
Really is unforgivable, isn't it? These are things that you can practice over and over and over again.
And this is what I don't understand. You see very long practice sessions. Let's watch this again. Here's the kick.
Crouch! Bye!
Not really
Set!
sure what happened there, but
Steady, they go along steady.
should have got a call from the assistant referee. Somehow Kingswood managed to rescue that ball from the back of a disintegrating scrum, and Azmi puts the kick in, but straight into the hands of the dangerous Charan Karunanayaka. Lovely pass from him. Here's Subhash, a no-look pass. The tackle looked a little high. Here's Rahul Jayawardena. Don't forget that Vihanga is still out for a head injury. Looks to go on the blind side, but the referee will have a word with his assistant, probably for that high tackle.
Seems, yeah, but it did look a little high. Started off above the nipple line and travelled up.
Yellow. Captain number 21. Number 21. Anytime.
Disanayaka.
Tackle like Gilatino. Dangerous play.
The save was clear. The assistant referee deciding that it was not accidental but reckless, which is why the yellow card was dished out.
High tackle.
So difficult to argue with that one also. There's absolutely no dipping in the body height by Disanayaka, the reserve scrum half, who've just come onto the pitch as well. Needs to do better, and I think what World Rugby wants and what we all want is to see tackle heights lowered. And that was not an example of a lowering the tackle height. It was a stiff arm as well, clothesline in wrestling parlance. And again, it will be Chamo Tseniviratna to throw in.
Straight in, straight in, straight in, straight in.
Much better throw that time by Tseniviratna.
It's nice lines by St. Joseph's. Cutting back into the field of play nicely was Chandupa Vimalasiri. Here's a big forwards from St. Joseph, still sucking that defense in. But this time Kingswood react a little bit better and fan out. And that time it was the big replacement, Sichija Sanjeeva, who left it behind.
Cramp, big cramp.
Sichija Sanjeeva clearly showing an example of why the backs hate forwards right in the middle of the line. He wouldn't want to see that replay.
Marasinga wasn't too impressed with it either.
Another man down with a cramp for Kingswood College. Well, two actually. Number 4 on your screen. Silva. And the crowd goes up as Randeep makes his way back to the field.
Well, that's
from
good
the
to
blood
see.
green.
Really good to see, because he's been outstanding for them. One of the real string pullers of this team.
Well, we've seen a lot of pain in during the game, but if you want quick pain relief, it's a Baraka joint ease you want. We're partnering up with the Papare.com to bring you this coverage. As Kingswood puts in inside their red zone, will need to try and sort out their exit option from here.
Well, they held that scrum well, but somehow couldn't get the ball away. It's Ranavira with the clearance kick, and it's a good one. Just behind his own goal line, but Joseph will look to take it quickly, but Yatavara says that it might have been taken from a little in front. Not sure why that wasn't allowed to carry on play.
Well, seems like the Josephians have learned their lesson. There was no show of dissent this time around to referee Yatavara's decision, who may have been a little hard done by, I think, that time.
Sachintana takes it at number 2. Randeepa trying to make sure that the maul goes straight. St. Joseph's opting to keep it close to the touch line. Got plenty of space out on the open side. Karunanayaka puts the big fend on. Can't get away from his opposite number though. That's a good tackle made by Bandara. But still available for St. Joseph's. Nice step back inside. Randika. You can see Joseph's looking very fluid. And Navin Marasinghe almost makes it to the line once again. He's just such a battering ram. The ruck was formed, says the referee, and the ball pulled back. and even more Kingswoodians in the wars. They're all falling like flies in the wake of Marasingh's running. Thunderous run again, made about 20 meters. And then not allowing the ball to be placed back.
No, එළියට ගිහිල්ලා තිබෙන්නේ. ක්‍රොස් වෙලා තිබිලා තියෙන බෝලේ. එළියට ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? චේන්ජ් කරනවද? ගහන්නත් පුළුවන්.
Looks like a bit of a dead leg here for the Kingswoodian.
මොකද කරන්නේ? එළියට. Change.
Looks like a replacement is going to be needed. So Kingswood have pretty much emptied their bench already. It's only 50 minutes gone, another good quarter of the game to go and more. And the Kingswoodians have been wilting in the face of this onslaught by a giant forward pack from St. Joseph's. They don't look as big as they are, Sudarshana, because they're all big. There's not just one guy who stands out and you know he's a big lad. They're all pretty big.
Absolutely. The forward unit, they do look like one of the bigger units. Crowds making their way into watch some schools rugby. Oh well, a little bit of a trick play, a prop goes in. That's what you like to see. A little bit of barbas there, Shanaka. And finally, St. Joseph's managing to score their fourth try. Well, it seems like it was Sachintana who ended up scoring that try, the number 7 for St. Joseph's College.
Well, apart from that yellow card, he's had a good game. He's been winning a lot of the lineouts in the front and making his tackles as well. And now scoring a try. Sachintana Vidyana, the number 7, open side flanker, big lad, and can motor a bit as well.
For a moment, I thought he was a prop forward because he's big. Shanaka, he doesn't look that big on screen.
Subhash with his 4th conversion attempt. He's got a couple of them. And the 3rd one just drifts off to the side. So he's got interesting technique from both sides of the field. Kicks it very differently. Here he is. Sachintana just barging himself over. Poor defense in the end, and these Kingswoodians have got to start adopting the chop tackle. They've got to really smash their opposite numbers below the knees, perhaps. Try and poach the ball, because they're not going to be able to win the physical battle by going high. Another replacement on the bench, Ruchita Rodrigo, who was on screen there in the number 24 jersey. Again, the restart not claimed by St. Joseph's. This is one area of the game, in addition to his discipline, that Coach Nilfa Ibrahim will certainly be taking a look at in the analysis this evening. Sure, he won't be sleeping much as he goes back and watches the video of this game.
Well, this one is a very, very difficult group. Shanaka, 3 teams from Colombo, 3 teams from Kandy. The defending champions, Royal College, right on top. 2nd seed in the group is St. Joseph's College, followed by St. Thomas's and Trinity, the 4th seed in the group, alongside Kingswood College and the Antonians making up the group of 6. Effectively the group of death this time around, with only 2 getting the nod to go to the super round and have a chance at winning the title.
Yes, it's going to be a closely contested race to be in that top 2, isn't it? We've got St. Joseph's already showing their form early on in the season, showing that they are going to be a team to be reckoned with. Royal haven't had a weak team in as long as I can remember. And Trinity, of course, we saw them earlier this year. They've lost a few players from that particular lineup, the 2021 lineup, but still look pretty good for a team that has been out of it for 2 years. So those three I would put up there as favorites. Then of course you've got the dark horse St. Thomas's, who without the likes of Owen Hettiarachchi will make a very different proposition, but still have it on their day to beat a team.
There's a lot of people would have put their money on Trinity College to win that Canon Aristicerum trophy for the 2021 year. But the Thomian grit prevailing at Havelock Park that day. Speaking about, we spoke about Group 1A. On Group 2A, you have St. Peter's, who some call the favourites, right on top, followed by Wesley College, who have a very, very interesting side this time, Shanaka. They were the age group champions when they were playing under 16 in 2018, 2019. They were the runners-up. So a very good set of players in that side, and then followed by Isipatana. The green machine can never be counted out of a season. Science College, the giant killers are there as well. And then you get the two Kandy schools, Dharmaraj and Vidyartha. Vidyartha showed some promise in the Central Province 7, so they are going to be another team that to keep an eye on, and don't discount Dharmaraj College, coached by Lacinta Di Costa. He made his move up to Kandy at the end of the 2019 season. Still hasn't had a proper season to show his mark. He'd want to make sure that he introduces that fast-paced game up at Dharmaraj. So two very interesting groups.
Very interesting indeed, and I think it's going to be some fantastic watching for everyone who's watching here on the papare.com and who makes it to the grounds as well. Of course, COVID was one thing that forced people to stay away from the grounds, but now I don't think they'll have much of a choice with most people stuck in fuel queues, but they will certainly hope to time it with our coverage as Randeep dummies his way in. An outstanding try from an outstanding little player. And he's led his team really well from the base of that scrum. Made some good decisions on where to turn the plays and come up with a little bit of individual brilliance here. There's really no stopping Randeep when he's at that pace.
Beautiful stuff, just beautiful stuff from Vihanga Randeep, despite going out, spending almost 8 to 9 minutes in the blood bin, comes back and dishes that out. He does have that aura about him. He's that type of a scrum half who can make things moving. Coach Ibrahim giving him some instruction as well. Remember, Nilufer Ibrahim did travel up to Kingswood to coach them in 2020. Didn't really work out for him with the pandemic, and made his way back to the Dolly Road. So that's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, he seems to be one of those scrum halves with a lot of swagger, isn't it, Sudarshana? That's something you like to see from your scrum halves. Even though they're the smallest men on the pitch, they walk around like they're the biggest man on it. You can see that he knows what he's doing in different areas of the pitch as well. Knew that the team would be looking for Navin to make a run on the blind side. Distracted the defenders and then went all on his own. Again, the ball handling letting Kingswood down. You can see the Kingswood team getting frustrated now.
We'll see whether we can take another look at that try Randeep scored. A couple of more seconds on that Randeep's try, if we can see that. Because I think, Shanaka, that could very well be our NDB moment of the match. Randeep touching down on that short side. Take a look at this. Look at the awareness. Well, I think that is our NDB moment of the match, Shanaka.
Well, he's still got about 12.5 minutes to do something even more spectacular, Sudarshana, but that really is up in the front running. Ishan just couldn't get across as the number 8 to cover that space. And it was wonderful to watch. He just ran at the weak shoulder, showed the ball, and stepped in off his right foot. Wonderful blindside try. 8-9-14 move that just needed an 8 and 9. And Kingswood players dropping like flies. You've got to feel for them. Far superior in their strength and conditioning are the St. Joseph's outfit.
Well, credit to Navindra Dayan, a very well-known figure in the weightlifting arena, will be making the trip to Birmingham with the national weightlifting team. Did marvelous work at Trinity College during the 2011, 12, 13 era. I do remember in 2012, while Navindra Dayan was still the trainer there, Kanil Serivaratna, Trinity's first 15 captain, was also a rugby and a weightlifting lion. And Navindra, having a chat with me a couple of days back, did tell me that Navin at the back of the Josephian scrum presses about 140 kilos, so that boy is not only big, he's very strong. So kudos to the strength and condition coach of St. Joseph's.
Yeah, it really looks like they're an outfit not to be trifled with. They haven't broken a sweat, and I think they'd be a little upset with themselves in terms of the second half of that first half. The last maybe 15 minutes or so of that first half, they really were looking a little worse for wear. They didn't seem like they knew exactly what to do now that they were in the lead. But it's still the first game, and I don't think we should be too strict on that or too harsh on that.
Well, if you want quick pain release, the Baraka Joint East is your answer. And whenever you want quick penetration for your pain, fast action, Baraka Joint East.
Looks like the Kingswood team might need to take a crate of it home on the bus today. They've had quite a few injuries. Got a feel for these lads because they're coming in after not a lot of contact, Sudarshan, not a lot of practice games. They haven't been playing their junior rugby, their under-17 rugby, and getting their bodies used to those collisions. So this is exactly why these injuries are happening. But I remember a time where we used to look at the lads from Kandy and being like, what do you guys eat? But somehow that seems not to have passed on to this particular Kingswood team. Karna Nayaka stepping back, stepping inside again, staying on his feet. Strong run from the Josephian skipper. Stayed on his feet beautifully. And Subhash looks to put the kick in. Not sure that was the right option. And in the end, Fernando gets it away for Kingswood. And it was a shame because I thought that run deserved the ball to be kept in hand a little longer. And Dilhara Subhash choosing to put it onto the toe, but not really finding much direction with it.
Just brilliant stuff from the Kingswoodian, who was in a very difficult situation there. But kudos to Karna Naik as well, being the skipper after all that hard work. He didn't show disappointment to the young man who put up that kick, but was very graceful.
Nicely taken. An uncomfortable ball going over the top of his head from Vihanga Randeepa. Managed to control it and give it to his fly half with plenty of options. Here's Marasinghe. Kingswoodians trying to get out of the way. Oh, that's a thundering fend off. This boy is going to be difficult to stop. Subhash draws and passes. Now for St. Joseph's. Still going, but just managing to drag the player out into touch. And desperate cover defense in the end. And also a forward pass, says the referee.
From here on, what's going to be very important for St. Joseph's College is they've gotten the victory, they've gotten the big W, they've gotten the bonus point as well, Janaka. So they will be focusing on making sure that they get home from this one unscathed. The last thing you want is one of your key players getting injured. So the player rotation is going to be key. Here's the incident.
Here's Marasing, a thundering fend. Oh dear. It's not going to want to remember that one, the Kingswood defender. Straight in the throat. Nothing wrong with that as far as a fend is concerned. Here's the 3-on-2, that forward pass. Just a little bit delayed. But very difficult to make sure that those hands stay safe in the tram lines. Just 5 meters of space for 3 players.
What do you want? Scrum or line out?
So again a botched throw in.
Line out.
Well, interestingly, Shanika, slowly but surely, this young boy, Mara Singh, who's at the back of the scrum, is getting the same reception as Tendayam Tavarira, who's better known as the beast of Springboks. Every time he touches the ball, there is a ooh and a ah going around the park. And why not?
Well, if they weren't sure who he was before the start of this game, they certainly are now, the Josephian fans. As St. Joseph's throw away that line out, Kingswood look like they need to give the ball away to win it back. And Rahal Jayawardena can't deal with the unkind bounce of the rugby ball there and chooses to let it go out into touch so that they'll have the line out throw in. But Kingswood have made a good 60 meters.
So I think that's a strategy that will work for Kingswood, because those big lads, every time they have to turn back and run, that's going to add a toll on them. So they need to make sure that they execute that. You can kick behind, but you need to make sure that you have committed chasers on it.
Well, one thing that Kingswood have been conspicuously missing, Sudarshani, is a scrum half with the ability to box kick. And that's what really helps to turn forwards around. And it's not something that's been in the Kingswood armory. Ishan now looks to take it and go, but coming back infield is Fernando. Makes his way into the 22, and Kingswood will be desperate for a try here. Oh, and their hands let them down once again. Kingswood have just not wanted to hold on to the ball today as Teran Karunayaka keeps going. It's been tireless today in the face of contact. The replacements are on for St. Joseph's in the front row. And now Subhash will look to put it nice and deep into the opposite half. Azmi is back there. They were all on side eventually, so they could play. Randeepa now waits for a willing ball runner, and these forwards have been full of carrying, and Subhash's hands let him down once more. So it's the second time that the 9-10 combination has resulted in a spilled ball. That's something that they're going to have to work on, this combination. But again, it's just the first game, so things will get better.
We're closing in on the last 10 minutes of the game, Shanika, and I think we need to try and open the discussion of who will be picked as the NDB player of the match. Clearly, some of the players really putting their hand up for the Josephians. The man at the back of the scrum, Naveen Marasinghe, and also Randeepa, who's the number 9, has been impressive. But I think my vote is going to go towards the number 13, Teran Karunanayaka, who's been impressive. The man with the ball. Take a look at it. It's difficult to bring him down. But being the first game of the season, I think you're the man to call who the NDB player of the match is going to be.
Well, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I think the whole Josephian team has been pretty good. Randeep, I think, has been outstanding. He's pulled all the strings. He's made the right calls. Subhash has been good with the boot, but has made a few costly errors. Few mistakes that you wouldn't expect at this level. Almost charged down that time. Well, it is charged down, but not out of the 22 yet.
Get back. Last foot. Advantage offside.
Rahel initially
Offside.
thought he was tackled in the air, but seemed like the Kingswoodians had timed it well.
Trundling forward, taking it back towards this posts into the middle of the field. Lots of forwards eagerly waiting for the ball here for St. Joseph's, and that's where the confidence is. All of them want to carry the ball, which is a stark contrast to Kingswood, who can't wait to get rid of it. Coming back to that conversation about man of the match, I think we really need to talk about Sachintana Vidyana as well, Sudarshana, because he's been really good in the line out. He's been good around the park, but he did have that yellow card. So that's something that, you have to take into account. And for me, it's between Randeepa and Teran Karunanayake, as you said. So I'm going to leave you there with those two choices, and leave you as the senior rugby man at the Papare to make the call.
Well, Chanaka doing a bunch of pilot there. But like you said, it's really difficult to choose between the two, Randeepa and Karunanayake. But I think I'm going to go with Karunanayake only for the fact that he played the entire game, whereas Randeepa did miss out on about 8 to 9 minutes. So NTB player of the match of the opening game of the season is going to be the Josephian skipper. Teran Karunanayake had a wonderful game, some very, very good carries, and scored the opening try as well.
Absolutely. Sichida Sanjeeva carrying that one forward, trying to barge his way closer to the try line. And this is where the Josephian forwards probably will hold on to the ball and not let it go anywhere near their backs. They know that one of them has a try with their name on it. It's just going to be who. Got a feel for the Kingswoodian defense here in the last 2 minutes of the game. They've taken an absolute battering from this big Josephian side. Still hanging in there though. Not going to give an easy try. And the referee has seen the ball on the ground. Gihan Yatabara was in an excellent position to catch whether the ball was grounded or not. And it looks like it is Sithita Sanjeeva indeed who has scored.
Well, now, slowly but surely, the Josephians adding insult to injury. Sithita Sanjeeva getting his name on the score sheet. But what a game it has been for the Josephians. I think the biggest take home has been their ill discipline in the first half, in the second quarter of the game, which did cost them 2 men who were in the bin, and the referee had to do a lot of talking. So that's something that you cannot afford in the close encounters. And also after scoring the first 2 tries, first restart was a loss forward, the second one was again stolen by Kingswood College. So that's something that Coach Nilufer will have to keep an eye out on. But as for the Kingswoodian, if we go to list down, we'll be here till it's very, very dry.
Yeah, it looks pretty dire for Kingswood as they get pushed over for the 5th try that the Josephians have scored. 6th try, in fact. This is the Sanjeeva, the replacement hooker. Dropped the ball a few moments back, but will be happy to redeem himself with that try. But for Kingswood, it looks like it's going to be a long season, Sudarshana, because size is a big factor for them. And all the other schools look like they might have a march on them in terms of the strength and conditioning aspect. The team is not going to get bigger as the season goes on for sure, but what they can do is maybe adjust their tactics. Nilfa Ibrahim is a smart coach, or Talagampale is a smart coach, so he'll know exactly what needs to happen. Roshan Weeraratne, one of the most savvy players in Sri Lanka, so he will also know tactically what needs to be done. As St. Joseph's offload, beautiful offload from Teran Karunanayake, the man of the match. Rahul Jayawardene now looking to finish this game off strong. Skipping back infield, number 19. Yes, Karunanayake still going. Possible to put down. Vihanga coming back to the big man. Kingswood need to be careful about not lifting beyond the horizontal there. And there's a little kick put in. Kings would have it covered and thump it down the field to try and buy some meters. Here's Karunanayake, still going. Busting off several players. He's playing like Ma or Nonu.
Well, clearly he's justifying my decision to pick him out, and in the 70th minute, when you can have your number 13 doing that, Shanaka, that lifts your team up, especially being the skipper. He's really leading this game from the front. He's not a massive player, but his leg drive is really helping him in the contact area.
It really is. And I think we might find travelling teams finding it even more difficult than usual, Sudarshana, because it's always a challenge to travel, but now with the fuel situation and also with the fact that teams are facing a lot of budget cuts, means that you only travel on the morning of the game, and that makes it ever so difficult unless you've got a really big budget to find hotel rooms for these boys. Here's Karunanayake still going. Lovely little offload out of the back of the hand, straight into the arms of Sachin Talanka. Vihanga left it behind that time, did St. Joseph's, but managed to pick it up and go. But referee will probably blow the long whistle. Yes, he does. And that's 34 points to 3. St. Joseph's convincingly winning their first outing of the season and marking the resumption of the Schools Rugby League, the commencement, I should say, of the Dialog Schools Rugby League here for 2022. And they have laid down a strong marker to all the other teams who will be eagerly watching this. Teams that have not had rugby, that have not had competition for 2 years, who will be looking on at the papare.com to find out who their biggest opponents are going to be. And St. Joseph's have certainly left their calling card here at Havelock Park for all the pretenders.
Oh, absolutely. St. Joseph's College, I think the coach will be fairly happy at how the team performed. Lovely stuff from the lads, delivering it up. Had a little bit of a dip in that third quarter that we spoke about, but come the second half, they made their intentions clear. Lovely stuff by their skipper Teran Karunanayake, who eventually was judged NDB player of the match. Kudos to the Kingswoodians for putting up a good fight despite having to deal with many injuries throughout the game. They made the trip down from Kandy, and here they are. It's just beautiful to see the schools game back in action, Shanaka.
Certainly is. It's an outstanding event, whichever game it is. Nice to see that the crowds are back as well. I think the players, when playing behind closed doors, would have been really downcast, not able to show off their wares. But a thumping win for St. Joseph's, 34 points to 3 against Kingswood, who have a lot of work to do. Back to the drawing board it is for Talagampala and Weeraratne. Obvious lack of depth in this Kingswood team, which is certainly not apparent in the Josephian team, who had replacements galore to bring off the bench. Didn't miss a trick when the replacements came on either. 6 tries, 2 conversions to just a 1 penalty. And just a 3 points to show for their long trip down now for Kingswood, down to Colombo and back.
Well, the NDB player of the match, Teran Karunanaika, like we mentioned earlier, and it's been an absolutely incredible start to the Dialog Schools Rugby League 2022, and we have plenty of games to come in the next couple of days. Tomorrow, 2 games lined up for you as well. Isipatana College will take on Science College, the Giant Killers, which is going to be a very interesting clash because Science is a team that cannot be discounted, and also the defending champions Royal College will take on the Eagles, who travel down St. Anthony's tomorrow, and both games will be live on the papare.com. So make sure that you log into Sri Lanka's #1 sports hub and catch the action live.
Dallas ලෝකයට එකතු වෙන්න. ඔබට සැරිසරන්න. සිත්සේ තෝරාගන්න. හැම දේම ඔබ ළඟටම. කොතැන හිටියත් එකම යායක්. අසීමිත සතුටක්. අත්විඳින්න. ඔබේ දරස් සොයාගන්න.
For instant pain relief, Baraka Jointies Fast Action Spray, your pain relief partner on the field. Pain? Don't let it get you down. For instant pain relief, Baraka Joint Ease Fast Action Spray. Baraka Joint Ease Spray, your pain relief partner on the field.
Well,
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They've been gone a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.